Okay, good evening. Yes, we are 3 on the stage and 2 virtually with us in spirit. So Aya and Daria can't be with us today, sadly, but they are going to be speaking to you in the presentation. And you have Jill, myself, Cara, and Marion. So without further ado, we are the Luminaries, and we created a product called She Venture, made for women by women. But first of all, we want to take you on our journey. So what we started with when we joined the cohort was an opportunity space about helping underrepresented women find financial independence and overcome the barriers towards that. So in terms of how we interpreted that opportunity space was to help female entrepreneurs access the right skills, tools, and networks to actually be successful in their business. That was our target goal. Our target group, we decided to lock in on female entrepreneurs of any age and at any point of their journey. So nice big broad space to work with. We actually interviewed 16 women of all different ages, background and experience. It's really diverse. We were awfully lucky to have such a collective mix. And the opportunity that we then really ground in on, so the job to be done, was when going to market with a new business, product or idea, I want guidance, support at each phase of my journey, from business strategy, key milestones and scale up, and potentially exit plan if you're doing really well, to increase my chance of success. We then define that into a story map based on the solution that we wanted to take to market, which is She Venture. And we mapped the assumptions and built assumption testing framework as well. We're at the point where we've created a prototype, and now we actually want to run some tests to gauge the strength of interest in the market. So we didn't quite make it to the top of the mountain, but we do have our roadmap, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today. So without further ado, this is Sarah Johnson. She is an inspiring entrepreneur with a strong business idea, eager to start her own venture. That venture does include emotional ups and downs in the journey, but she's also seeking professional and emotional support to ensure that she's successful from like-minded women who've been there before her. We're going to move on to the problem, and Marion's going to take us further.
So, women in business make sense for the economy. It's not only diversity, but it drives inspiration and innovation, which all translates to money. However, women have a problem. There's a gender funding gap. So, female-funded businesses receive an average of 1.5 million in funding, whilst male-funded businesses get 6.2 million in funding. So that on average, men benefit from 5.9 times more funding than women. Now, some people might think it's because men are better. You know, it's easy to think, well, maybe they're just better at pitching or they demonstrate greater skills than females do. But no, an MIT Harvard study which isolated gender by swapping the voices on pitch found that 68% of investors still chose to fund the pitches voiced by men, and only 31% funded the ventures voiced by women. This was the same pitch, the same text, nothing changed aside from the voices. But women are still managing businesses, and they are still being innovative, and they are still starting businesses. Why? Because they are circumventing some of the problems that they are facing. A PwC interview of 40 successful female founders across 25 different countries found that when we hear that men are more concise and women are more empathetic, their takeaway is not to become more like men. It's just to say, okay, if I'm pitching to investors and I'm getting too emotional or to investors, maybe I just need to step back and rethink my approach. Maybe I just need to be more concise. So women are blending some of the skills that the men are using in order to circumvent the issues that's happening. Another study found that female funders of an art platform called Witchsea, when they were sending emails to VCs to try to get meetings, they were receiving no response. So what did they do? They invented a fictional male co-founder. When they did that, bam, they started getting responses. So women have already locked onto this unfair disadvantage. It's completely just because of gender. So they're circumventing it in different ways. So this brings us on to our solution. We want to empower female entrepreneurs with a comprehensive guide right from the onset. Almost like somebody is holding your hand from when you conceptualize your idea right through to starting it up and taking it back wherever it is that you want to take it to. It's going to be something that will shield you from the setbacks. We want to arm women with all the setbacks that they can face so that they can overcome it.
So in order for us to be able to identify the right solution for our female entrepreneurs, it was essential to start with understanding the competitive landscape and what the other competitors in the market were offering. So in this area, we analyzed the 8 direct competitors, and we considered in our analysis both perspectives, business operations, and what features did they offer. So from business perspective, for example, it was essential to understand the services scope. You wanted to understand what kind or what part of the female entrepreneurship journey they were covering. Was it mentoring? Was it funding? Was it networking? Or was it a mix of all? And secondly, it was important to understand their business model. How did they price their products? Was it a subscription tier, or was it a one-off payment? Because this would help us later on in deciding our revenue and cost structure. And it was essential also to understand the unique value proposition, or what was unique about these solutions and what gaps that they have, so that we can ideally or uniquely identify our proposition. And from a feature perspective, we wanted to understand what kind of technology they offer. Was it algorithms? Was it personalized recommendations? Was it AI? And what else? And we wanted to understand what format did they deliver the solution on? Was it a web-based or a mobile application? And finally, we also wanted to understand what kind of audience did they target, and in which region, in which industry, because this would help us in shaping our product strategy and vision.
Now that we have analyzed the competitive landscape, it was time to hear from our target audience to understand more about what kind of challenges they faced and what are their desires and needs. So we conducted a round of user interviews with around 14 participants from different backgrounds and different industries. And as you can see in this slide, it features the most important highlights we got from these interviews, and which conveys the top needs and pains that they are facing. For example, most of our participants expressed the need for some guidance along the journey, because it's not easy to navigate through this entrepreneurship journey on their own. They would love to have either an emotional support network or a professional support, or even both together would be better. Another thing that they faced difficulty in was finding the right calibers or the right team for their businesses, or finding co-founders, like-minded co-founders for their businesses. Another thing, which was an area that is hard to navigate as well, is finding the right funding options for their businesses and how to approach investors. And this is an area they would like some help and guidance in as well. And lastly, and which was conveyed as the problem at first, which is how the most of the funding is going to male founders and not female founders, and they would like to have a solution that can change the situation for them.
So we looked at the pains and needs of our female entrepreneurs, and what our research shows that women just face significant isolation. Networking and getting funding can sometimes appear to be a men's club that they may not know how to get into. So women face challenges in having a supportive network. And when you're not networking and you're not speaking to the right people, it's hard to then go and pitch and get the funding that you actually need. But if men are networking and they're doing this on a daily basis without even calling it networking, it's easier. They're already in the game and you are always kind of somehow behind catching up. So we identify gaps in the market as being an AI-driven personalized solution. So there are many other organizations that are offering mentoring, funding, or networking, but not all three. It's not comprehensive and it's not holistic. So this is where our solution with She Venture comes in.
All right, so that leads us straight into what our actual unique value proposition is. So we're a bit of a one-stop shop. So rather than women having to go to lots of places to find what it is that they need, we're bringing people together into one platform. It's got highly impactful AI personalization to really contextualize information and drive it for our users. Female entrepreneurs are not a homogenous group. Females are not a homogenous group. They have different interests, they have different needs. So really harnessing the technology that's out there to be able to connect them to appropriate people, to be able to push them a little bit outside of their comfort zones as well within our community of women bringing together, but crucially providing that mentoring and resources to be able to help them access and bridge the gap to getting funding. That's the sort of main goal of this. We really felt that having a robust resource library was key to support in terms of being, rather than having to go off to other places to be able to access different types of resources, integrating this all into one solution, making it that sort of targeted place for women to come together. In terms of our unfair advantage, so what do we have that no one else has? So we're using existing technology. So no one's trying to reinvent the wheel here. There are great algorithms out there. You know, we already did a comprehensive market analysis of this. So there is technology that exists that we want to draw down on and build upon. But again, it's that contextualization to our audience. So there's great community platforms that are out there. There are great mentoring platforms that are out there. There are great resource libraries that are out there. How can we bring these together rather than creating proprietary tech beyond this? And we've got great partnerships. People have believed in this solution. You know, we've had women, industry-leading entrepreneurs already backing us within this, and we can only seek to build on this. There is a clear gap in the market for this moving forward, which we want to solve moving forward. And finally, it's that network effect. That's going to be one of the key things in terms of growing our solution, but also enabling women to really help each other and support other women. It's a snowball effect. We've already spoken to a cohort of 16. You know, we've had other people who have come to us as a result of that, saying that they were interested in what we were trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. There's a lot of spaces out there where women come together as women to try and help each other. And by harnessing that, we'll be able to really take that forward. Our product strategy. So in terms of our vision, so this is really about empowering underrepresented women. So entrepreneurs, we've heard all the stats, you know, women are disadvantaged in the marketplace out there. We, as I said, it's that AI-driven platform that we're moving forward with, and all of the wraparound resources that go into that, but to support women to challenge and be able to have a sense of equality within the space, to overcome the barriers they're currently facing, and to have a platform to be able to do that. So in terms of our business goals, we've got quite ambitious targets that we want to support. We want to support 25% of female startups across 2 years, and predominantly using our mentoring as a tool to help them access equitable funding. So opening doors for them that they don't necessarily have access to already, creating a level playing field, and being able to build the confidence, be able to build the skills. So like Mariam was saying, in terms of all of the pitching and all of the way that women are necessarily characterized when they come into this space, being able to push back on that. And in terms of our product goals, 500 new users within 3 months. It sounds ambitious, but as I said, there's already a great network out there. There's already forums of women who are gathering who are female entrepreneurs. We're just tapping into what already exists to build on it and to bring them together. We want to have 100 mentoring sessions facilitated within 6 months and being able to support then being able to generate our own website traffic off the back of that by 30% in 6 months as well. We've got other product goals behind that, but those are our kind of top 3 that we wanted to share with you to really show how much we're putting behind this and what we think is realistic and achievable as well.
So in terms of channel marketing, well, there's no one channel anymore that's really influential. There's a blend of everything. So we're fully aware of that. I'm going to talk to 3 and leave strategic partners for last because that is actually quite crucial. So the first, digital channels, of course, website, SEO, mobile and social media, and really focusing on targeted advertising as well. Again, being relevant to our audience is really critical. Community engagement, as Jill was mentioning, really leveraging the network and the community and enabling them to share their success stories and to actually be advocates for She Venture as well. Direct outreach, of course, through email campaign referral and influencer collaborations, which actually leads to what I feel is one of the most important ones, the strategic partnerships. So we really want to be part of the community and really actually be enabling female entrepreneurs to be successful in whichever stage of their journey they're at. So women in business associations, there are many, and of course we do want to bring them together. Accelerators and incubators, and again, it's just knowing half of the battle is just knowing this information. So shining a light on these strategic partners is really critical to the success of our product. Financial institutions, because again, one of the quotes from our interviewees was that she just needs a sounding board. She needs someone who knows the framework of putting together a VC pitch, so that she can actually bounce ideas off of them and really make that pitch a lot more stronger. Educational platforms as well, it's also really critical in enabling women to empower themselves through tools and the latest technology. So the customer segments, we talked a lot about female entrepreneurs of any age, any background, but it's the journey that links them. So there will be female entrepreneurs who've been successful in the business and looking for their next venture, or are considering to actually take that first step towards a launch. Others would have launched a business but have struggled to scale because they didn't come into it with a 5-year plan from the get-go. And there'll be, unfortunately, women who have just stumbled on successfully launching that business. They've hit a roadblock, and that's due to funding requirements because they haven't been able to scale. So these are the segments that She Venture is actually going to support. And as I said, it's comprehensive at any stage of their journey, but all connected in terms of that journey, not in terms of a demographic or demographic. Cost structure. So I just want to highlight 3 in terms of the presentation that we think is very important. Fixed costs, of course, in year 1. We do take into account the product creation, website hosting, app hosting, which will be our main driver, customer support, email, and insurance, of course. The variable costs that we need to take into account over the 1 to 5 year period would be further development costs, predominantly based around the app, supporting costs in terms of staffing for marketing, increased functionality costs. We have a lot of MVP that we want to share with you in terms of features, and of course looking at the chat functions, keeping it very real and immediate for our users. Indirect costs will be marketing for both sponsorship and community gains as well.
We have developed a diverse range of revenue streams to ensure sustainable growth while providing value at every level of engagement. We would like to start with a freemium model because for products that are community-based, freemium models have proved to be quite efficient in terms of building the initial user base. Our subscription model will form the core of the revenue later on, offering tiered plans from basic to enterprise, catering to entrepreneurs at different stages of their journey. We've complemented this with one-time purchases for specialized content and events, allowing users to access premium resources as needed. Our marketplace and advertising offerings will create a win-win scenario, generating revenue while connecting our users with valuable opportunities and partners. And finally, our high-value consulting services and data insights provide additional revenue streams while delivering personalized support and market intelligence to those seeking to accelerate their growth.
So as Cara mentioned, we didn't quite reach the top of our mountain. There's always a lot of next steps to go in terms of tech development. So we've got a number of assumptions tests that we still want to run. Some of it is about our costing model, particularly around our freemium, to check that. Another one is about our scalability and for our acquisition, because we've got quite rapid growth model in terms of making sure that we've got support function, that we can grow our tech on the back end, everything like that. It's one of the really key things for us to move forward with. We want to develop our enhanced prototype for MVP. We've got a lot of features that are already within our roadmap, and we've had to strip back quite significantly. And then we want to get some great user testing feedback on that to really help drive that. We've already had lots of inputs, but a bit more A/B testing to help us move forward with what's critical for MVP, and then what we can further put into our roadmap, or what actually might not be relevant anymore. Let's see what our users want. Once we've iterated our MVP, we will scale up our testing. It's always important to have those continual feedback loops, and they're built into our product strategy, but a little bit more before we actually want to go out and evaluate impact for our testers and create those crucial user stories. So for those who've been invited to the platform for our early stage, for our early adopters, our ambassadors, our mavericks, whatever we want to call them, how does this help them in their journey? We want real life stories to be able to push forward. We want their critical feedback, but also we want to make sure that what we're doing is right. And off the back of this business model, it's at the heart of everything, sadly. But we'll need to refine that for moving forward. And we'll have better insights there in terms of where our added value is, what type of events we've been attracting people to, what type of features people will pay for. And so we can certainly build that out a little bit once we've got a little bit more of data intel of people actually using the platform. We will then prepare for full launch, which only gets one bullet point, but it's actually quite a big process for us. And then, as mentioned, we've got that lovely product backlog already in there. We're going to start lean with our MVP. The focus is absolutely on mentoring, because that's a crucial part. From there, we're going to build out those lovely community elements that we've been talking about, that network effect that we want to create. Also our resource library and our other wraparound support features, but keeping lean to start with, and then moving forward, lots and lots of exciting things to come. And then we talked a little bit about our success metrics so far. They are ambitious, but I think the key thing that's driving us forward is really in that bottom corner. So really supporting female entrepreneurs in securing funding to support their businesses. All of our product is based for impact, and that's what we're driving for. So some of these are product metrics, but really that's us keeping our goal in mind as to why we're getting up in the morning to do this and what we want people to be able to achieve. So, and that is the end